He's doing extraordinary work for the city of Los Angeles. Mayor Eric Garcetti.
Thank you so much. What a treasure our treasurer is, and thank you so much, John, for what you have done for so many years in so many ways. Well, let me start first by saying we have the right speaker at the right time for this state. A woman who understands housing, who understands how housing connects with the economy, with social justice, with education, with opportunities. And I couldn't be more pleased to welcome here to Los Angeles somebody who I said, make Los Angeles, I guess I have to say your third home since you live partially in Sacramento, but I hope it feels like a second home for you. And let's give another round of applause to our speaker who has brought us together. Thank you for your leadership on this issue. To my fellow elected officials that are here as well, Assemblymember Jimmy Gomez, who I know as Chair of Appropriations will help see through much of this work, and two super Assembly members, Ed Chow, who had less of a commute but is doing a great job representing not just his district but all of Southern California and the state, and David Chu, who I spent New Year's with talking about affordable housing, and that we had this wonderful speaker that we both want to partner with, the Senate, who has already been focused, whether it's in cap and trade and other ways on boosting affordable housing. We get it. The reason we get it is I think California was defined as a golden state that attracted people from around the country and the world because of two things: our weather and our quality of life. And our quality of life came from, among other things, that housing was affordable and plentiful here. We had space, we had jobs, we could build things, and people could spend a small portion of their income on housing, allowing them to be able to have the discretionary income they could to invest in education and other things in their lives. That's changed a lot. As Speaker Atkins said, here in Los Angeles, we are now the least affordable housing market in the country. Yes, housing costs more in New York or in San Francisco, but given the wages and the housing rent average, here it's the biggest gap in the country, which means, as was mentioned, that 47% of a renter's income on average is spent just on rent, which means you have nothing left to decide whether you buy shoes for your kids to start school, whether you pay off the telephone bill, whether you pay down your debt from your education. Those things that families wrestle with every single day demands leadership, and we now have from the state stepping up with this proposal from Speaker Atkins just that pathway. I convened the Big Ten, although it's actually 11 mayors now of 11 largest cities in California, and we early on, even before we knew the specifics, signed on, sent a letter in support to Speaker Atkins of her efforts last year and this year. And we talked about this a couple weeks ago, and we are all on board. From Oakland to Sacramento, from San Francisco to San Jose, Fresno, Bakersfield, San Diego, Santa Ana, Long Beach, Anaheim, and LA. That's just one representative cut, and I think all local governments feel this squeeze, because three things happened. One, we lost the local redevelopment dollars that were so critical to housing, and I hope we can work with our legislature for bringing back tax increment financing for housing. But second, we also had cuts from the federal government. Home dollars and others that were so valuable got slashed. And then third, the recession hit. And in a city like mine here, where I helped build up a $100 million housing trust fund, which was the largest local such fund in the country, we're now down to less than 20% of that. We will step up, Speaker Atkins, because you have led, putting in our budget very precious discretionary dollars too, to show that local leaders also should equal the state efforts to make sure that we have housing trust funds, that we have credits, and that we have incentives to allow people to build what we need to do to improve the quality of life for folks here. And we'll marry that with local initiatives like raising our minimum wage here in Los Angeles. We can help close that gap from the bottom as we build down from the top. In Los Angeles, we have not built 100,000 units of housing that we should have over the last decade. And I pledged to do that here in Los Angeles by 2021, to accommodate not just population growth, but to ensure that people have humane housing that they can live in at an affordable price. During the recession, when everything else was going down, rents went up 25% in a decade here in Los Angeles. That's unacceptable for a path to prosperity, for businesses to be secure here. And together with reducing our local business tax, those three prongs of raising the minimum wage, becoming more business friendly, and building housing will build not just a prosperous Los Angeles, but hopefully contribute to a prosperous California as well. So thank you to count on our support from LA and amongst the mayors of this state, and we will get this done. To those who would stand in the way, we ask, what will you don't have an idea, get on the train, there's plenty of room. And with that, we're supposed to introduce the next person? Okay. With that, I'm going to introduce a great friend of mine, somebody who has done a stellar job as an assembly member and who's prioritized affordable housing, a great representative for all of California, Ed Chow.